Hello everybody, this is like the third take of this that I'm doing because I don't want to edit this video that much, but welcome to my episode all about the latest controversy surrounding Palia again. And I'm happy to say that this time Singularity 6 has fairly little to do with the overall controversy. So, I mean, let's jump right into it. What happened? Well, last week was Thanksgiving in the US, and Singularity 6, being a US based company, decided that they were going to give their employees time off for the holiday. And that's where things went wrong immediately, because two sheps for Palia, and if you don't know what a shep are, those are basically people given some special privileges by Singularity 6 to basically help people in the community. Listen, they don't even have privileges. It's basically just a star next to your name that says that you're knowledgeable and have been around a while and you can help. That's about it. So two sheps found it within the means of their role to basically harass the owner and runner of the website Paliapedia for asking for clarification on their terms of service rules regarding data mining. And this happened all on Discord. But basically, this is Paliapedia. This is a website that we can use to find information about quests like Dire Circumstances, which has you try to find Kenley's lost sandwich. And if we don't know where that sandwich is, we can click the sandwich and see that it spawns in exactly 2 spots on Kalima Village, and there we go. I can finally get rid of this stupid quest that's hiding behind my head for the first time and forever. You can see the word sandwich over my left shoulder. So on the 24th, all of this led to Paliapedia shutting down, effectively. Adane released, I keep saying Aiden, it's Adane released this whole thing. You can read it if you want. It's still up on the archive of the web. And it's basically a mess. I mean, the site's back up now, so you can see that Singularity 6 has mostly resolved the issue, but it's terrible. It's absolutely terrible. And I guess I will start by saying this isn't the first run-in with data miners that Singularity 6 has had. If you'll remember on the channel in the past, they did copyright strike a YouTuber for reporting on some data mines about the Majiri market way back when. I'm going to get kicked from the game soon because they're going to be rolling some update in order to try to fix connection, which sucks, but I will keep talking about stuff. So, yeah, Paliapedia is this website. How did it get all the information to tell us where everything spawns? Well, they accessed the data files for the game of Palia, and they used them to create this whole website, which will tell you what everybody wants, where items are, what the quests are, who the villagers are, information about them, what is in stores, what can you gather, where can you gather it, things like that. Our server connection is now lost. Congratulations, we've finally done it. And I guess the question is, why is this an issue for those people in the community, the Sheps, the Singularity 6? And it all has to do with accessing information that you really shouldn't have access to. And some people see this as a big problem. Some people don't see this as a problem. Some games celebrate these people. Some games attack these people. Most games are pretty neutral to them because they sit in a legally weird spot of space. And this is where I want to say that the Sheps and a lot of the people surrounding the Sheps were mostly harassing them because they saw this whole data mining process as being illegal due to the terms of service saying that you're not allowed to do it. And I went and found a lawsuit between Facebook and Power Ventures that deals with terms of service, and specifically deals with Section 502 of the Computer Fraud and Abuse Act. And I guess we're going to try to answer the question of, is data mining illegal in the dumbest way possible. And I'm going to run around on my lost connection server for a minute. But Section 502 and this whole lawsuit we mainly dealt with two questions in Section 502 when it came to whether or not that lawsuit would go through and pass. And the first of those two questions is, can a terms of service make something illegal? And one of the tests that they used to determine their answer to this was, would a person of average intelligence know that whatever the action is illegal? In the case that they were talking about, the problem was that a company was accessing Facebook under their client's prerogative in order to edit posts and things on their page automatically, because that's what Power Ventures did. The average users would in no way see this as a problem. The other problem with this whole question of illegality is it is a unilateral contract when it comes to terms of services. We cannot negotiate back and forth. We cannot make changes to the contract based off of what we do or do not see is wrong. The game makers or the internet providers or the websites just make them and they release them to the world. And there's a problem here because they can change it whenever they want. What was legal yesterday could become illegal tomorrow. And we've lost the game finally. Oops. So that speaks a big no. Terms of service cannot make something illegal. And the other big question mark that they had in here, where was it? Is that Section 502 is very much based with this idea of accessing information without permission. And what does that phrase mean? Without permission. So, I mean, the Computer Fraud and Abuse Act mostly deals with accessing computers, computer networks, and websites. And Facebook argued that if you broke their terms of service, that you were accessing their website without their permission because you were doing so against their terms of service. And what this lawsuit basically argued, and in this lawsuit is actually an amicus brief, which means it wasn't somebody in the lawsuit, it was somebody on the side who saw a problem with it. In the amicus brief, they argued that if we take that stance, that literally every person in the United States can set their own laws for accessing their computers, their websites, and their networks without any, reasoning, without any forewarning, without any chance to do anything about it. And if we kept that law the same, you would basically be giving every single person in the United States the ability to create the law for themselves, which, sounds fun to some people until you realize that everything that you access on the internet, I'm accessing through EFF.org. What if they made it illegal yesterday for me to look at this? I wouldn't know. It's hosted on their site. I have the ability to see this. They would just have the ability to make what I'm doing right now illegal and take me to court. The courts didn't like this view at all. So they basically settled with the idea that breaking the terms of service alone is not enough to say that you are accessing data without permission. Okay, let's make this a little bit more clear for you at home. If you're watching this, you're most likely using the internet in some way, whether it's cellular, through an ISP, or through a mobile carrier. What if that party that you were using to access this information made it illegal to watch videos on YouTube today? They just said they changed the terms of service. You can't watch videos on YouTube. Would they be able to kick you off their platform? Yes. But could they take you to court for viewing videos on YouTube? Arguably, but it wouldn't be a legal issue. It would be a civil issue, and you'd probably win because they changed the terms of service unilaterally without informing you properly, which is the previous part of all of this. And all of this has basically come down to say that the terms of service on most games and most websites itself, by itself, on its own, I will say this in as many ways as I can, does not stop you from accessing something. It doesn't prohibit you from accessing something. It is one of many steps that a company would have to go through in order to say that you broke the law, but it is just one. So the terms of service in itself doesn't really help with this whole thing. Okay, so Sheps were defending this idea of terms of service, and people were saying that it was against the law to post this information. Now, what would actually make this a suable offense? Singularity 6 wants to go after this person. What would they need to prove? Well, they would need to prove that having the information on the quests or the wants in some way damaged their company or created loss for them, which is very hard to prove. They would also, at least under 502, need to prove that they accessed the information without permission and that they, were subject to the terms of services, which I hate to tell you, you can download Palia, put it on a computer, update the game, and go through all the files in the game without ever accepting terms of service. So there are probably people out there who could do this without being subject to the terms of service at all. And in those cases, it wouldn't matter how much it is against the terms of service because they're not beholden to them. So to answer the final question of all of this, it is not illegal to data mine games in the slightest, as long as you are not accessing confidential information, usually about, well, customers. Okay, I will rephrase that. It is not illegal to data mine games in the fashion that is being done here. Now, it is in a gray area for Palia because they do not officially support it. They have gone against some people doing it. But legally, there's nothing about the data mining that's a problem here. Now, if I wanted to get this site shut down, I would use any of these numbers of pictures of which, Singularity 6 owns the copyrights to, and I would shut them down with DMCA. But for all of this stuff, like all of this information on Calico Koi and such, if they just didn't have any of the pictures and it was all just text, nothing illegal about any of it. Nothing to really bring against them. And I guess with that, we'll end this crazy whole thing. Yes, I do know that there was a November dev update. I'm a bit underwhelmed by it. I'll probably talk about it in a couple days. And I'd like to thank some people. I'd like to thank you for helping support the channel. And here is another video from the channel that, YouTube thinks you'll like. Have a good day. Thank you for watching.